Hey everyone, welcome back to Chicken Cindy's, and today we're going to get into the 800 subscriber Q&A. Marley had the good idea to read the questions to me, so this is kind of what kind of format would you call this?
Q&A.
Well, like
Interview.
Interview Q&A style?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do like a Q&A interview with your guys' questions. So, what's the first one, dear?
The first one comes from the Captain's Cog.
Ooh, good old captain.
And he asks, what was your first real bike and how old were you?
So, the first bike that I remember having, I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I know it had training wheels, I know it was brown, and I knew it had Bart Simpson on it. And I absolutely loved that bike. And that was also the bike that I learned how to ride without training wheels. So, but I could not tell you what brand or anything it was. But I was a wee little child, and it had Bart Simpson, and I thought I was the coolest kid on the block.
Okay, this next question comes from Fractured Rider, and he says, how deep do you go on planning when it comes to filming, and what software do you use for post-production?
So, I'm so busy with doing bike stuff. Planning wise, I really don't plan for anything. I get really bad about not recording the things I do. So like, I have a lot of footage right now that I could use, and I just haven't used it. I'm probably sitting on, 8 to 10 videos that I've not uploaded, whether because I just haven't figured out a way to put them in, like where to put them. But I will plan my rides, and I will decide if I'm going to record when I ride or not, because I don't record all my rides. Here lately I've been doing a lot more of like the upgrading videos, and I've had a ton of project bikes here lately, so that's been real fun for me, but it's been keeping me busy, so I've not been able to, since I've been concentrating on that, I've not been really doing the actual ride videos as much as I usually do. But when it comes to planning, I just kind of get an idea in my head and just go with it. I don't take a lot of like retakes and things like that. I just kind of go with the flow, and I don't really have a script or anything, but that's something I've considered doing just to kind of help with it. And for production, I actually use Cyberlink Power Director. It's a yearly fee that I use. I don't have a Mac. I like Mac computers, but I just don't want to spend that much money for a Mac that I could get for the PC equivalent when it comes to power for about half the price, if not less, depending on what's on sale and not. But I really like Cyberlink Power Director. That's what I use, and it just works really well for me. So hopefully that answers your question, Fractured.
This next question comes from Chris Horvat, and he says, okay, so here's a serious question. I know you worked on a fat tire bike. I've never rode one, but it seems like it would have a lot of rolling resistance. Just wondering what the appeal is.
So fat tire bikes are actually used for snow riding and beach riding. Depending on what you do with your tire's air pressure, of course, affects your actual rolling resistance. The couple trails that I've done on the Dolomite ALX, I've really not noticed a ton of resistance. I've got it down to about 34 pounds, so it's actually decently light compared like to a full suspension or something like that. I'm excited to get it on actual snow. I don't really have any beaches around me in Illinois, so I can't really try that out anytime soon. But no, I did not have a fat tire bike. I saw the appeal for the Dolomite ALX and I just wanted to build one up, so I got it and did it. And I definitely have some more Dolomite ALX videos coming up here soon. But it was just a really fun project bike for me. But for rolling resistance, there's really not that much, which is kind of crazy to say, but it's just a really fun bike to ride. So that's a good question. I like that one.
All right, your next question is from Nate Zahota. How old were you when you started to mountain bike, and did you do any similar things like BMX or moto?
So, to answer the second part of the question, no. I did not do BMX, I did not do moto. I would have loved to have done both of those, but I was actually into skateboarding. Insert random skateboard clips now. So I still skateboard. I'm not exactly the best skater, but I do have a lot of fun, and it's just something that I enjoy doing. But this is actually going into my 4th season of bike riding. So this will be, I've been going for 3 years now. This will be my 4th year at the end of this season. But just me and a bud, actually Casey, Cat, you've seen him on the channel a couple times. But we just decided to go ride Charleston one day on some Walmart bikes, and then we did some research and realized that those were not the kind of bikes that we needed to do the kind of stuff we were trying to do. And it really just turned into a snowball down a hill for me, between like bikes that I bought and upgrading and all that. And but no, it's been 3 years that I've been biking, and I have a lot of fun with it, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad and grateful that I found this new hobby / sport to enjoy. So
WR Mountain asked several questions.
okay, go for it.
So I'm gonna break it up into a couple, okay?
Okay.
So first couple are, how many times do you ride? I'm assuming how many times a week?
Okay, so I typically I'll answer them as she reads them. I typically ride 2 to 3 times a week, whether that be just a 5-mile mountain bike ride, a 30-mile road ride, or a mixture of in between. I typically like to ride when I go mountain biking no less than 10 miles, but I also work 24-hour shifts. I'm a firefighter, as most of you know, and I don't like to be away from home longer than 2 hours at a time, just because I'm already away from home so much. So, and that does include driving time for me. So I'll drive 20 miles to the local trail, ride for a little over an hour, get 8 to 10 miles in and then come home. And so that's I try to ride about 2 to 3 times a week is what I shoot for. But of course, here in Illinois, the weather is super, super fun. So sometimes I don't get that in, but that's the first part of the question. Then second,
do you consider yourself a good rider? And if not, what do you consider yourself?
I definitely consider myself a hobbyist when it comes to riding. I've definitely rode with people who are sponsored by like SLF Motion. It's a little company around this area for road riders, and I'm definitely not to that caliber. I do feel as though I hold my own on the trails. I've got a couple KOMs at one of the local areas and things like that. But it's just so much fun for me. So I definitely consider myself a hobbyist, but I do consider myself maybe a 6 out of 10 compared to like the average person, and as 10 being like professional racer and 1 being just a beginner. I think I'm somewhere in the middle, but a little above average. So, and what's the last one? Or is there more than 3? Oh, keep going.
There's several.
There's a few.
This will make me giggle. I think I know who he's talking about.
Uh-oh.
Does your little brother mountain bike?
So, okay. So the little brother that you're probably talking about is my nephew Noah. He's 10 years old. He'll be 11 in July. His birthday's actually the day after mine, fun fact. And he does. There's a video that's going to be going up here soon, because I'm hoping to post this on Saturday, so Monday, over the new mountain bike that we just got him. So it's very cool, and I definitely take him on the trails, and he does pretty good for his age. He really does. And I enjoy riding with him, but yeah, he's my buddy. So, but that's nephew. That's Noah. He's my nephew. So.
What's your favorite bike?
I would probably have to say my NS Eccentric. I love my NS Eccentric. It is just an absolute beast. I had so much fun building that up, and it's just so much fun riding it, and it just has so much personal touches that I love it. The Vitus Mythique is going to be a close second when it's all said and done, and when those videos pop up, you'll see why. But, all right, next one.
All right. That's all his questions.
Oh, those are all
he
like
has
those
a fun
questions.
suggestion for your 1,000 subscriber video, which,
Oh, let's hear this.
well, I don't know if we want to say it out loud because it's actually something we've been talking about. So I don't know if we want to leave it a surprise.
I mean, what does he say we should do?
He says that you should do a bike check on all your bikes.
That's definitely coming. A bike check is coming, but there might be a fun special twist on the bike check as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to do that for 900 or for 1,000 or what we're thinking, but I'm excited for the bike check when it comes, because I evidently have way more bikes than I've ever anticipated.
Uh-huh. You do.
Fun fact.
Brian Forts says, you have mentioned on a couple of past builds that you buy a budget crank set from Amazon. Which one is it, and do you have a link? I'm building a clunker.
Okay, so Brian, typically on Amazon, the one I actually buy is an IXF crankset. Now, JG Bike has just recently released a crankset as well. That is the same dimensions, but it's actually roughly $10 cheaper. And I've not ordered one of those in person yet, or received one myself, but the JG Bike one actually seems really nice as well for the price. I did order the one set of crank arms from AliExpress, to put on my actual fat bike, the Dolomite, but I had to do that because Amazon did not carry a budget-friendly option for that. So those are the 3 that I've done so far. The one for the fat tire bike was actually, it was called Claw, but I have a video for that. I'll put a little link to that shows where that one is and where you can buy it. But IXF, JG are both very decent budget crank sets. You will have to buy a chainring typically as well, and it's a 104 BCD chainring. Any one of those should fit and bolt on no problem. So, but those are the couple that I would recommend personally.
Some kind of beast.
AZMT Beast.
Yeah, okay, that guy. He asks.
He's been around a while on the channel.
Yeah, shout out to his blue line there. So he asks a question. He says, I don't know what the right answer would be. What would you rather ride? A $500 Walmart bike down a mountain or a $750 Chinese carbon fiber bike?
So, I was doing a little bit of research trying to figure this one out because I'm guessing you mean not a $750 just frame and building it up. I'm guessing you actually mean a $750 complete Chinese carbon bike that you would buy like off AliExpress or something like that. And after looking at it and comparing the components and stuff, I don't know how I personally feel about Chinese carbon. Now, this is a very hot debate topic, and of course, other carbon fiber frames come from the exact same place in that kind of a scenario, but I just don't know how the the QC quality control is for those carbon frames compared to how I know a Walmart bike is in person and when I get it. But I mean, I would get the carbon fiber frame and I'd check it out and see what's going on for sure. This is a hard one. I don't know. It was a Walmart bike, right? Not a Trek bike. Walmart bike. $500 Walmart bike. I just bought one of those. And it's really a good bike. I'm going to say the $500 Walmart bike. That's just what I'm going to say. I know that a lot more people has tried it, and I know it's a good bike that'll work. And just with the carbon fiber quality, it sketches me out a little bit. That's kind of a fun question. I like that one. Really made me think.
Alright, WR Mountain says, what got you into mountain biking? What got you into mountain biking, Josh?
Really don't know.
What got you into
So, alright. My beautiful wife wanted bikes forever. And I kept telling her, no, the bikes are stupid, bikes are dumb, I'll never bike with you. And we finally bought bikes.
Walmart bikes.
These Walmart bikes. What did you have, a Genesis? I think we both had Genesis.
I don't know.
But that was the bike I took with Kat to the Charleston Trails and realized it had a disc brake up front, a V-brake in the back. It was terrible. It was full suspension, probably weighed 45 pounds. But I totally forgot. I actually started mountain biking because of Marley. She got me into biking. And I remember like our very first ride, and we were dead afterward, was like 2 miles. I remember looking at people, they're like saying they bike 20 miles. Like, you bike 20 miles?
And now
no
it's like
way.
20 miles is just
yeah. I mean,
warm up.
Yeah, it is now. So yeah, my wife got me into mountain biking. I forgot about. I'm glad she called me out on that. 'Cause I totally forgot about
I
that.
was waiting for the light bulb there.
It took a minute.
Chris asks you, how do you know you're not in the Matrix?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't. And I really can't answer that one. But I mean, if I was, I feel like I'd be able to dodge bullets better than what I can now.
Great question. Mind of Harris asks he says, okay, here's a newbie ALX question. Is it possible to use the same oval ring, the red one you bought, the red one you bought and the crank 2, but keep it 2x?
Okay, so
There's a little bit more to the question.
Okay, go ahead and keep going.
There? Okay. By keeping the inner, the smaller one, oval ring that came with the Dolomite bike. Basically, I would want the same, basically I would want the same also. I know I'm reaching here, but I'm wondering, and he loves the channel.
Thank you. I know he just recently came around not too long ago, and he's been asking some really cool, fun questions. And this is a good question. And I know they used to do 2x ovals, and I know they seem to work, but when I think about it personally, with a round ring, it's the same surface area all the way around. So putting a chain up and down is going to be a lot more smooth than on an oval ring, because if you try to put it up on the oval ring at the wrong time, it may not fit appropriately because it might be too big or too small, kind of a scenario. Now, do I think it would work? Absolutely. Like I said, they used to do it, but I know they don't do it nowadays, and I'm sure there's a reason for it, and there's a reason why we don't see it. And I think it's because it's an oval shape and not a round shape, so it just makes it more difficult to go up and down the two chain cogs, or the two chain rings. So hopefully that makes sense. But I mean, you could probably make it work, but I just don't think it'd be very smooth and or reliable. So that's my answer to that question.
All right, and you have one final question. Actually, kind of two, but this
All right.
is really your final question.
Okay.
From Cool Out AC. I'm not sure what this abbreviation means. I think I do, but I'm just gonna.
Well, just spell it.
Do you ride any XC bikes?
Cross country.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I
Okay.
didn't want to say it in case I was wrong. And are you into racing at all?
So, I technically have had cross country bikes. And for me personally, I consider a cross country bike anything less than 120 millimeters in front. So typically cross country, in my opinion, is of course how you have it set up stem-wise handlebars, but then also the travel is typically 100 millimeters. And I have ridden cross country bikes, but for me and a lot of the stuff I do, I just don't enjoy cross country bikes. So I don't really ride them. And if I buy one or have one that's styled like that, I'll change it to more of like a trail bike is what I typically do. And I would love to race. I was actually just talking to a friend about this who sadly broke a collarbone while he was racing, not even a couple, maybe a week ago now. But he just got over the other collarbone healing. And I was talking to him just about why I don't race and that kind of a thing. But for me, I love mountain biking so much that I truly feel like if I was to start racing in a competitive nature, it would take the true funness from it, or the true funness that it is to me, away from me, if that makes sense. It's kind of like someone who has a wonderful hobby, who loves doing something, and then they turn that hobby into a job, and then it's no longer fun for them because now it's work and it's no longer play. So for me, it's finding that balance of play and fun and not work, play, and fun. So I may race, I don't know, I'm not gonna say no, but it's definitely not something that's on my radar. And I just truly enjoy riding and trying to continually be better than myself. And that's why I like Strava so much, is because I can beat myself and get my own personal records. Like my last ride, I got 4 new PRs, and that's just so exciting to me. And I love that I can continually get better and see the progress in myself. So that's why I typically ride. But I'm not against racing, and I think racing's fun. But I just worry what it'll do to me and my enjoyment of the actual mountain biking experience. So I have a couple shout outs real quick for the end of the video. I have CBC Outdoors little brother I'm supposed to shout out, so shout out to you. Alton Outdoors, I'm supposed to do a shout out as well, asked me to do a shout out. But as of today, I think we're at 850 subscribers, so we're halfway to 900. I know it took me a little bit to get this video and Q&A done, but I just want to thank you all so very much for just subscribing, enjoying the content. And again, as usual, please, if there's any questions, put them down in the comments. If you guys want to see a video or want me to go more in depth over something, always feel free to reach out. You can get a hold of me on Instagram under Chicken Cindy's or anything like that. And typically pretty easy and pretty quick to get a hold of and pretty quick response. But thank you all so very much for just continually making this journey just a blast. And I'm so excited to see where we keep on going. But until next time, everybody take care.